long to be in control. For Clemson, they've got to play clean defense back behind. They are 7th in the ACC in fielding percentage. Things need to keep clicking in the circle for them and at the plate. With that defense, they've got to show up and play behind every pitch.
And for Virginia, Jade Hilton gets everything going for them. One of the captains on this team. First team all-conference for the 2nd straight year. And she leads them in just about every major offensive category. Has hit the most home runs in the history of Virginia softball. And they get to take on the ACC's Pitcher of the Year, Reese Basinger, in the circle for Clemson.
Basinger has 7 complete games on the year, 1 shutout. She's a transfer coming over from Winthrop. Has 147 1/3 innings pitched. She's 4th in the ACC in that number, filling the need for a high-quality pitcher with Cagle and Thompson and Spencer gone this season.
Yeah, 3 pitchers that ate up a lot of innings last year. Graduated, and a whole new pitching staff for the Tigers. And Basinger throws a variety of pitches and has just been spectacular. An ERA just under 3. Hilton's ahead of her 2-1. Jade lifts it into short right field, and what a catch! Maddie Moore. We know she can hit the ball, but that's a terrific play out there at second.
Well, and that's the defense that we expect out of Maddie Moore. She is so good over there at second base. It's the first step that makes the difference in this one. Does not get cheated with that first step. Good first step, drop step, gets the angle and the reach. Huge first out of the game.
So Jenny Dalton-Hill was an All-American second baseman at Arizona. So where does that rank on your Jenny Dalton scale?
I mean, that's what I expect.
Okay.
If you're going to play second base, that's the kind of play you have to come away with, because with your right fielder and your center fielder, they're playing back, respecting the power of Hilton. So that ball can find a way to the grass, but not with Maddie Moore at second base.
So here's Kelly Ayer. She was one of the heroes yesterday with that game-winning RBI double. Center fielder for this team, a senior from Mechanicsville, Virginia. Kelly with a couple of hits yesterday. Here's more on Basinger.
And she's got the 2nd most wins in the ACC. She'll throw 63 to 64 miles an hour. She is a spin-focused pitcher with a curve to both sides of the plate and a drop. She's got a fantastic changeup and will throw it to multiple batters. She does not waste time in the circle.
Working quickly, that's hit hard, and another good play out there, this time by Brockenbrough. Defense so far has been spot on for Clemson. Johnson, Brockenbrough, and Pipkins, and up the middle, Marion Collins along with Moore. And boy, Marion Collins bursting onto the scene, ACC all-freshman. Pipkins also a freshman, as is Cintron. There's a lot of baby Tigers out there. And they have delivered after a senior-laden team last year.
It's just been a reset year with young talent. They graduated 7 seniors, and amongst those departures, Valerie Cagle, Aaliyah Logaleo, Millie Thompson, Mackenzie Clark, Reagan Spencer, very pillars of the program for Clemson. And since its inception, and with those departures, it does require new faces out on the field. And the beginning of the year was a little bit rocky. They have settled in nicely and are trending up here at the end of the season.
All the way up to the number 2 seed in the ACC championships. Bella Cabril, the second baseman, batting 3rd. Joanna Harden now in her 9th year, taking her team to its 6th ACC tournament. Got her 200th win against Florida State during the regular season, and her first ACC championship win yesterday.
And she went into this season knowing that there needed to be a different focus for them this year. She knew there would be talent, but she wanted to try to garner a top 16 seed. She said, you know, we set the stage for that, but we just had too many losses.
A lot of close ones as the count goes to 2-2. Wind is blowing in. It's pleasant right now. The sun is shining. Lifted towards Pipkins. fighting the sun. Maddie Moore robbing Jade Hill. Someone will walk home with that. Courtney Lane gets the ball first for UVA.
And she is perfect, 4-0 on the season, lower ERA, improved strikeout to walk ratio. Her best outing of the year was against Stanford in their last week of the regular season.
Facing a Clemson lineup that's hitting .333 collectively. Alex Brown shows bunt, first team all ACC. Hitting .431 on the season. Was the leading returner in several categories. Games, runs, hits, triples. A lot of new names. First appearance for Clemson, the top 4 seeds, got buys into the quarterfinals. Virginia beat Louisville yesterday to get here. Brown, her 3rd and final year at Clemson, played her first 2 at the University of North Carolina, goes upstairs and swings through.
And with Brown up at the plate, she's got the 2nd highest batting average on the team. She is the fastest runner on staff. She's got 10 stolen bases. She can bunt, she can slap, but now with 2 strikes in the count, you're looking for her to big swing away.
With that hitter. Lead off on base against Courtney Lane.
Lane in the circle will throw in the low to mid 60s, typical lefty arsenal, curve, drop, and changeup. But has developed really good movement on her arm side of the plate. She needs to challenge righties inside, not just away.
And now Maddie Moore, ever dangerous, made a spectacular play out at second base in the top of this inning. Leads her team in average home runs, runs driven in. 2nd year in a row, she is a first team all ACC performer. Loomis, California. Familiar?
Of course.
LA area?
Cali girls stick together, especially when they play second base.
Sends it into center field. Air grabs it to retire Moore.
Well, and that's the challenging on the inside part of the plate that will be so important for Lane in the circle here today. As a lefty, sometimes they worry about going hard inside to right-handed batters because if the ball gets away from them, it'll ride in and hit the batter. But that did a really good job of jamming up Maddie Moore.
Julia Noller, one of the returning starters from last year. Missed 20 games with some injuries last season, healthy now. Another lefty facing Lane. Hilton trying to turn the double play, and they do it! Hilton to Cabral to Eaton to end the inning.
Defense wins ball games, and early in this one, Virginia is taking no chances. They put the shift in motion, put Hilton up the middle. Nice little ground ball, 6-4.
And then the winner of this game and the winner of our nightcap between North Carolina and Virginia Tech. And the winners will, in theory, play on Saturday in the final.
In theory, that would be true.
Yeah, a lot of rain expected.
Might need a boat to play the game on Saturday.
Macy Eaton, a sophomore from Wheelersburg, Ohio, leading things off. In the 2nd inning, they went down in order against Basinger in the 1st. Macy, a 2nd team all ACC performer. 1 RBI from tying the all-time single-season RBI record at UVA, held by Kristen Dennis, who was a very, very good player back in '02. That's when she set the record. Behind 1 and 2.
In this season, when Joanna Harden started the year, she didn't have anybody sitting behind Macy Eaton defensively. And because of that, she had a conversation, and it took off the pressure for Eaton to be able to be a little bit more productive.
That time she goes down swinging. First strikeout for Basinger.
I mean, good job just running this ball off the plate to get a swing and miss. First strikeout of the game for Basinger.
Sarah Kuhn batting behind her and playing third. 425 in ACC games, almost 100 points higher than her overall average. This is a Virginia offense that sets single season records for most RBIs, most home runs, and extra base hits. 63 home runs. This is a team that only hit .246 last year with 36 home runs.
And has stayed very consistent in the circle, just up .04 in their ERA to be able to back up that growth in offensive numbers.
Finally getting the bats to catch up with the pitching. Basinger coming over from Winthrop. That is drifting towards Noller. That's an outstanding play by the first baseman. And she was running out of room by the railing.
Well, and we've seen some hiccups over near the railing because there's a little concrete lip. Ooh, that does hurt a little bit, but not as bad when you make the out. Maddie Moore, a little celebration back there behind her.
Taking a little bit of the wind out over the way she hit it, but she seemed to land flat on that lip you talked about. 2 away. Hartgrove swing and a miss. Two-run single to tie up the game against Louisville yesterday in the 6th inning. And they won it in the 7th. We talked to Joe Harden before the game, and she was kind of like, you know, the monkey's off your back. And she told her team, hey, we're playing with house money right now.
They didn't know what that meant.
They're young.
So the way she tried to explain it to them was, it's like you're going to Lululemon with your parents' credit card. And they were like, oh.
Yeah, that they got.
That made more sense.
1-2 pitch now. Back into the netting.
Basinger just getting really good arm side run on that pitch inside. It's jamming up the Who hitters.
Last semifinal was when they last won a game before last night for Virginia when they lost to Florida State. They are the #1 seed, won earlier today against Georgia Tech. 2-2 with 2 away to Hartgrove. Straight back again. And the Virginia Cavaliers, also known as the Wahoos, they have Who's on their jersey, and I like that you said Who hitters. It sounded like a Dr. Zeus thing.
I mean,
I like it.
That's about the maturity level I am most days. So.
Waited on that. Drifting into center to make the play. Collins.
Never want to leave it up to the committee, but last year, number 39 Penn State got in. And so with that, it looks as though this season, those might be pretty good opportunities for those teams to get in. Remembering that the only automatic qualifying bid out of the ACC is the winner of this championship.
Cal and Stanford certainly bolstering the RPI with their first year playing softball. Stanford's been to back-to-back World Series. Macy Cintron leading things off in the home half of the 2nd inning. Cintron, a two-way player, pitches and also plays in the field, the ACC Freshman of the Year.
Well, and she kind of welcomed herself to campus. Her first collegiate at bat was a 2-run home run. She also plays on the Puerto Rican national team.
She draws a leadoff walk. That's leadoff's getting on in both innings, but UVA pulled off a 6-4-3 double play to end the 1st inning.
Well, they're starting off with 3 passes. That's definitely not how you want to start innings. You want hitters to earn their way on, but so far the free pass has started off both the first and the second.
Abby Vieira, the veteran senior catcher. 338 on the season. Tigers last year fell in the Tuscaloosa regional, the first weekend. Another one on the ground. Can they turn two again? Yes, they can. How about those Who's?
Who's shaking the leather? I mean, right now they are doing such a good job of playing positionally correct. Defensively, they are setting themselves up according to the spray chart for each of these Clemson hitters. So with Bella Crawl up the middle, she's able to just take it herself. Second double play of the game. That's the 15th of the year.
So yes, only 13 all year coming in, and they pulled off 2 in 2 innings this evening. 4-6-3 that time. Gabrielle Hilton to Macy Eaton.
Nope, I'm going to take away the 6 in that one, Pammy. She took it herself over at second base, so just a 4-3.
One of us was paying attention. Great job by the second baseman. And now the bases are empty for Marion Collins, another freshman that has really come in and made her mark.
When you see the way that this Clemson team had to reconfigure itself with the departure of so many iconic names at their program, Marion Collins, the freshman, comes in with a combination of power and average at the plate that has really stepped in at the shortstop position.
You're 3 hours earlier tomorrow on site. So do you come in late tonight or early tomorrow? It's about probably 2.5 hours from Bristol to here.
The hard part, I was talking with Brittany McKinney last night, and she said, you know, we finish our ACC show tonight about midnight, and they're planning on driving in tonight. So getting in about 2 a.m., it's going to be some quick turnaround for those 3.
They can do it.
Down the line, and hopefully they bring their umbrellas.
MC Eaton, Mary Caroline, her full name, and no, she is no relation to Macy Eaton, no matter what you might have heard. That is smashed, but foul. Pursuit by the left fielder, Kylie Johnson.
Yeah, but it left the yard down the left field line a little bit wide, and she's just ahead of this pitch. I mean, we're in Boston, so we got to start talking like it, right, Pam?
Maybe you do. Basinger doesn't get the call.
You know, I always like a home run, but I'd really love to call a round tripper or a ball that leaves the yard. Big poke out of the park.
That hit the netting. The guy who parked us today did say the stereotypical way of saying park.
Yes, and that's
what has set you off.
I know, and I have been in love. Now I'm looking up all the Boston vernacular to make sure that I can include them here today. Can't believe I missed that opportunity yesterday.
1-2 floats in low.
And I went around and actually asked people from Boston before the game to make sure I was using correct verbiage and in the right way so that I didn't do them a disservice.
Second strikeout for Basinger. Sets down Eaton.
I mean, that's a wicked rise. The way that that's coming in, it just gets over the barrel. It looks so hittable. Late sharp break over the barrel. Nice strikeout.
Number 8 hitter, Kelsey Hackett, the right fielder. Hacks one foul. Had a hit yesterday in the win over Louisville. And Hackett is a great story. She didn't really get a lot of playing time early on in her career, and Coach Harden says she's the kind of kid who just comes in, always puts in extra time in the cages, extra work, even when she wasn't playing.
Well, and she said that hard work pays you back, and that's what Hackett is seeing in her junior season. Just 70 at-bats coming into today, but the quality of her practice has been so consistent, even though she hasn't seen those starts. Junior
from Appomattox, Virginia. Cavalier team that made the NCAA tournament last year for only the second time ever. 2010 and 2024, that's it. They went 2-2 at the Tennessee Regional, losing both their games to the University of Tennessee. But they beat a Miami, Ohio team that a lot of people thought would take them out. One, two. Another foul ball.
So hard to keep your hands inside that pitch, riding in. As a right-handed hitter, typically when you get a hold of that one with the barrel, you just yank it foul. So really good spots for Basinger on that pitch on the inside corner. Back behind, you see head coach for Virginia Tech, Pete Demore, with Eden Bigham's dad having a little conversation.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Basinger to start the inning. Pete does not have the hoodie on yet.
No, but you know he will, and it's coming up over the hat eventually, because that's just how he rolls.
Virginia Tech playing our second game coming up against North Carolina. Boy, Kenneray Dark was terrific pitching for North Carolina yesterday, and some of the best defensive plays you'd ever want to see. I don't know if SportsCenter had any of them on their top 10, but what Sanaa Thompson did out in center field was just silly.
No, she caught everything. As soon as it went in the air, there were times you're thinking, oh, that's going to drop in. No chance. She floated her way underneath so many balls in the outfield. She put on a master class out there yesterday.
We will see Carolina and Virginia Tech after this game is over. Kaylin Jones batting ninth, the left fielder, looking for her first hit of the championship. Neither team has registered a hit yet. Virginia has not had a base runner. Center fielder had to go back. Rockabro playing in, but she got it. 2 more Ks for Basinger.
Down at the bottom of the lineup, you want to get the outs before you for the Who's on the season.
Cabral dancing a little bit before the first pitch to Taylor Pipkins to start things off here in the bottom of the third. Both innings, Clemson getting their leadoff batters on. Alex Brown hit by a pitch in the first, and then a walk to Cintron in the second. But those 2 double plays you just saw ended the threat.
That's exactly what you have to do behind a circle that is struggling to lead off innings. Come up big with defensive plays. The way that Virginia is playing defense, they're putting themselves in the perfect position, and their pitchers are hitting their spots. That's the best part about when you play a shift or put your team into a defensive set. Your pitchers cannot miss their spots, because if they do, it leaves you very vulnerable to the base hit.
Pipkins, yet another freshman, and there's the first hit of the ball game for either team. And 3 innings, 3 leadoff batters get on.
And with Cabral pushed up the middle, they had Pipkins shaded to the left side, but in an outside pitch, she does her job, drives it the other way, and could have been a pretty easy out by the second baseman, Cabral. A nice little hit to the outfield to put herself on.
Courtney Lane in the circle, now facing Kylie Johnson, who gets down the bunt, and good play by Macy Eaton to let it go foul. We saw a couple of funky ones last night, right, where they just stayed fair.
Well, and one started foul, and with a ton of English on it, swiveled its way back into fair territory. So you have to make sure you pick that ball up as soon as it gets over the line.
Now the bunt gets down, and perfect sacrifice bunt. Pipkins over at second as Johnson is erased.
It's so important to stay on top of that ball, knowing that the lefty is going to try to ride you up and in when you square to sacrifice bunt. Johnson did a really good job of keeping her barrel high and adjusting down to keep that ball on the ground.
Number 9 hitter Jamison Brockenbrough, the Tennessee transfer, a couple years at Tennessee, first one now at Clemson. Playing time went down after a very good freshman year. Didn't play as much as a sophomore and got a fresh start at Clemson.
And when we talked to Coach John Rittman about her, he said, I think she's most comfortable, though, sitting on a tractor.
Chop. Tough play. Smart play by Lane to hang on to it rather than risk throwing it away.
The infield here at Boston College has not been playing extremely hard, but this ball bounced off the plate. And with that, the trajectory pushes it way up in the air. A lot of speed down the line. And Clemson has an opportunity now to mess around with the defense with speed at first base and a runner at third.
And runners on the corners with just one away. Top of the order now, Alex Brown, who was hit by a pitch in the first inning and erased in a double play. Infield playing in, particularly at the corners.
Right now, the first and third is being defended by the second baseman, just holding her spot in the baseline as the defense is completely pulled in on the right side.
Lane missing inside.
But she is challenging these pitchers. That left foot is about as close to the plate as you can get and still stay legal. When you put yourself that close to the plate, you have to make sure that you can cover the inside part of the plate with the barrel. And so while that pitch is a beautiful strike, Brown was frozen.
Now the 2-2.
A lot of hitters will make adjustments in game in the box to make sure that they're exploiting the things that the pitcher is giving. One of the toughest things to adjust and remember where you are is closer to the plate or further away, because it adjusts your strike zone in terms of your distance away from your body. And that's what you're going to get. On that inside pitch, it's going to be almost impossible for Brown to be able to keep her hands inside that ball and drive it into fair territory. Your job as a hitter is to make sure that you get those strikes out of the way until a pitcher makes a mistake. But so far, Lane doing a really good job of just keeping that ball tight on the hands of the lefty.
And Coach Joe Harden, as Hartgrove goes out to chat with her pitcher, Harden talked about how Lane has a propensity for really coming up big in big situations when the pressure's on, and that certainly is what's going on now with runners on the corners and just one away. And Maddie Moore is on deck.
Yeah, you know that she's coming up unless Virginia is going to be able to turn another one of those double plays to get themselves out of the inning. But in this situation, you've got a big bat waiting on deck, but Alex Brown threatening here with a runner on third base.
Huge strikeout for Lane to get the second out of the inning.
Tell you what, the way that Brown was swinging in this at bat, you thought she was going to take advantage, but got her weight out on her front side, ball up in the zone. Looked like she took a little velo off of that one. Really great attack by Lane in the circle.
And now Moore flew out to center her first time, the biggest threat in this lineup. Ooh, and that got a piece of Hartgrove behind the plate, so she's going to need a little extra time.
Those tools of ignorance don't protect everything, unfortunately, and I think she wore that one right off the inside part of her foot. Difficult spot. Foul tip. You never know where it's going to get you. Oh, right off the knee. Ooh, tough.
Home plate umpire Don Brown giving her a little extra time as well, because you know that home plate umpires get hit a lot.
And catchers will give the courtesy right back.
Yep, they know the pain. 0-1 to Moore with 2 on.
And you can see Maddie Moore upset with not getting the bat off the shoulder on that one. She knew that was a very hittable pitch, but it didn't come in with the kind of velocity she was expecting. Took a little something off that one. She knew she missed an opportunity.
Yeah, that was a cookie. Look at with runners in scoring position, 577 for Moore, but couldn't lay off the rise. Talk about coming up big in a pressure situation for Courtney Lane.
Lane right now dealing back-to-back strikeouts off two of the best hitters in Clemson's lineup.
You know, I love to see it early. We'd had it late yesterday. I like to see it early today.
Well, and Coach, you and I, both Cali girls, need to show up a little bit more prepared here in Boston. Even though it's May, it's going to maybe be a little chilly.
I know I got a shout out yesterday in the last game of the day. Jenny, I got jackets for you, and they're all right here. They're ready for you. So, just kidding.
All right.
Just kidding.
Is it chilly for real?
No, not today. Not today.
Thank you.
Tomorrow
We
it might be.
appreciate the props.
Thank you, guys. I want to shout out Lisa Palmer and Fran. I know you guys are watching. I love you guys. We're here fighting for you. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for supporting us and for loving on us.
All right, Coach Harden, thank you very much. And yeah, maybe light a little fire back there and
stay
get
warm.
warmer.
Stay warm.
All right.
Bring an umbrella.
So
love the way that we're able to interact with these coaches, not just in game, but off the field as well. We talk to them during the week, and building relationships, maybe my favorite part of this job we get to do, Pam.
Yeah, there are really some outstanding individuals who do this, and you really have to. And she's got a little girl, Finley, and you miss so much time away from home. You miss your little girl and pour yourself into the profession. And Coach Hart, who works gum like Ted Williams used to work a fastball. That, I mean, she's one of our favorites.
She is, and when we asked if Finley was going to be here this weekend, she said no, she had ballet. I gave her the opportunity, or I gave her the choice that she could stay home and do ballet or come with us to Boston. And she also said that she could stay home and do school. And most kids would be like, oh, I'm going with you, Mommy. She said, Mommy, I can't miss school and ballet.
Clemson and Virginia scoreless. This is a quarterfinal matchup. The winner goes on to the semifinals to play the victor of our nightcap, Virginia Tech and North Carolina. Both of the teams are here. Ready and Basinger. Low in the zone. Virginia still looking for its first hit of the game.
The crowd may not have liked that pitch, but that's a hitter's pitch. You got to get your bat off your shoulder. That pitch left right above the belt, middle of the plate. That is a home run ball, especially for a hitter like Hilton.
2-2. Sends it out of play. This really is a great matchup. You have the pitcher of the year in the ACC in Basinger taking on Hilton, who was an all-first teamer.
Ooh.
Almost took out some of the Tigers.
You got to be careful in the dugouts. They're only protected halfway up. If you're not watching, you might wear one off the dome over there.
Hilton takes it into right field, and another web gem. This time by Taylor Pipkins. Hilton has been robbed both times she's been up tonight.
I tell you what, it's the right side of the field. She knows they're trying to exploit the outside part of the plate, but with Pipkins and Moore, she can't find her way on. Huge catch out there and right. We talked about it before the game. One of the keys for Clemson winning this game was for defense to show up in a big way, and so far doing a good job behind the pitcher, Basinger.
Boy, Hilton has yet to get a base hit. She went 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday in the win over Louisville. Maddie Moore took a hit from her in the first inning, and we just saw Pipkins do it with that outstanding diving catch. Chopped, and that will not be playable. Moore could not get to it. First hit of the game, for the Who's.
Well, and the thing about that is Maddie Moore was going to be able to get there, but she had to hold her ground. There was a little stutter step by Moore as it tipped off the glove of the first baseman. I think she had a chance to get that, but the stutter step delayed her just enough to get it beyond the reach.
So Air gets the first hit of the game, had that game-winning double yesterday to beat Louisville in the 7th inning. And she takes off and is called safe. The shortstop, Collins, had to travel a little bit to get over to cover the bag.
That was a huge slide. I don't know if you caught onto it, Pam, in real time, but she swam into getting to second base. She was going in hard with the left hand, but as she was going in, she picked it up and went in right hand to prevent the tag from being made. That is elite.
Yeah, that's a great observation. And for her, because if she goes in with her left hand, she's probably out.
Yep, picks it up last second. Tag comes in a little bit late.
So Air with the single and the stolen base, now in scoring position. Air has the most stolen bases for Virginia this year, her 16th. Has only been thrown out twice. And now a visit in the circle.
Yeah, just an opportunity to maybe come out and talk about these hitters. Now that you've got a runner in scoring position, it can add a little bit more pressure to the circle, but assistant coach Kyle Jamison coming out, have a little talk with Basinger in the circle, the battery.
Jameson has been with John Rittman all 6 years at Clemson. 41 wins for Clemson this year, 19 victories in the ACC, and they come in as the number 2 seed with a very strong finish. John Rittman said earlier in the year, just wait. He had confidence that this team would gel, and boy, have they. Lifted into short right field. Moore grabs it for the second out.
And when you have youth early on, it can sometimes be difficult to find those wins early in a season as everyone's starting to gel and figure things out. But the way that Clemson has put together such a dominant program in such a short period of time is all due to that man right there. John Rittman has built a quality program quickly.
Eaton, Macy into left field, and another good play. Kylie Johnson on the run to end the inning. Virginia gets its first hit, but boy, Clemson's defense has been spot on.
Yeah, you got to come away with some nice ones to win the ball game. We've seen them all over the field with Maddie Moore, Taylor Pipkins, and then a big one out in left. Communication between Johnson, able to come get a big out.
Wow.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, so we see Eden Bigham yet again.
And Bigham last season had the best swing and miss rate in the nation on her rise ball. Well, this year, it's getting better. This year's lowest opponent batting average in the ACC, the 4th lowest ERA. She has been so good in the circle. She throws in the mid to upper 60s and continues to be successful with her rise and has added a drop ball this season. That drop ball has improved her rise ball swing and miss numbers.
So we saw Bigham yesterday. She came in to start the 3rd inning, pitched 5 innings, picked up the win in relief of Savannah Henley over Louisville. But as Coach Rittman alluded to, are you a little bit surprised that the pitcher has been lifted? Lane, who had been shutting this team down, and shaking her head no.
No, Lane was doing such a good job. I don't understand why they go to Bigham. Obviously, Bigham is so good in the circle. They had the same approach yesterday, though, as well. And Bigham came in and threw the final 5 innings. So as they head back through the second time through the lineup, just felt like they needed to make a change.
Julia Noller grounded into an inning-ending double play in the 1st inning, one of 2 ground ball double plays that Virginia has pulled off. Clemson with just 2 hits and a 3-1 pitch on the way to Noller. Always dangerous, and she tattoos it into left field where it hits the wall. And for the 4th time, they've got the leadoff runner on in this game.
Yeah, they've been efficient at being able to get runners on. And when you make a pitching change, this is the way you want to welcome them to the game as a hitter. That ball was left big, and the ball deep out there to left center. Played well off the wall by Jones, but that was a deep hit.
So Noller leading things off, welcoming Bigham into the game. And the pinch runner comes in for Noller, Kennedy Ariel. And that sets up Cintron, who walked to start the 2nd inning and also was taken out on a double play. Cintron, the freshman of the year in the conference.
They've asked a lot of Cintron this year, balancing pitching and hitting.
Oh, 2, so she goes after the high pitch. Pinch runner Ariel. Took a little bit off that one.
And not only did she take a little off, she gave it a little wiggle at the end. Nice little curve off the plate.
Bigham first team all-conference herself this season. One-two to Cintron. Bigham has had quite a career and still just a junior from Rustburg, Virginia. Her parents are here today.
Love that.
2-2. Ariel takes off. Good piece of hitting to get her over to 3rd by the freshman.
Works just like a sacrifice bunt. When you hit behind the runner, it gives an opportunity for advancement. If she had pulled that ball, there would have been no opportunity to advance the pinch runner Ariel to 3rd. But by hitting behind her over there to 2nd base, puts Clemson just 60 feet away from trying to get on the board.
2nd straight inning in which Clemson has gotten a runner all the way to 3rd. Abby Vieira grounded into a double play, but she's got herself an RBI, our first run of the ball game.
With the defense pulled in, it takes away the opportunity for a lot of lateral coverage from side to side. And with that, it exposes those 5, 6, and 3, 4 holes. With the 3rd baseman way up the line, there's no chance for her to make a play on that. Past the diving Hilton, Vieira, huge RBI.
Finally breaking through. Bigham, since she came in, a double, a ground out that advanced the runner to the 3rd, and then the RBI single by Vieira. Marion Collins struck out swinging against the starter Lane in her first plate appearance.
Nice little change of speed for that one. And everybody knows that Bigham's going to throw that rise ball. She's good at it, has great break on it, but it's that mix of speed that just makes her so difficult to attack.
Got her. 2nd out of the inning. We're going to have early softball. It is brunch at BC. 10 a.m. Florida State takes on Duke And then the winner of this game will take on the winner of Carolina at Virginia Tech. Things being moved up because a lot of rain is coming, Jennifer.
Yeah, it's true. We've got umbrellas, but I'm going to call it donuts and dingers instead. And
Okay.
And go with that.
Okay. You provide the donuts.
Done.
And maybe we'll get another Dak Jack for Florida State. Somebody will hit one out tomorrow.
I mean, there's a nice little donut shop next to the hotel. We'll just pick some up since we're going to be in the booth up
if
here
it's open that early.
a long time tomorrow. Well, I mean, knowing that tomorrow was starting early, I went by the donut shop to make sure they were open before we had to leave tomorrow. And don't worry, Pam.
Okay, I'm glad. Advanced scouting is always important.
It's important. You need it. You need a report to know how to attack the moment.
Taylor Pipkins trying to add on. Short right field, that's foul. And Pipkins made a very good catch to rob Jade Hilton of a base hit in the top of this inning. And another true freshman. So much lost from last year, but so much gained with this freshman class.
And the thing that John Rittman said they needed to learn early on was how to play together. They had to redefine their identity and culture without the founding members returning back to the team. We talked about it early. They had a 3-6 start. From that moment on, they went 38-6 the rest of the season.
5 of those 6 losses coming in the ACC, finishing second in the standings behind Florida State.
Well, and the drop ball is new in Bigham's arsenal. And as she throws that pitch, that looked like a beautiful one. But up in the zone has been called more consistently than that pitch at the knees.
So a full count with Vieira over at first. Popped up, difficult play, but made nicely by Eaton to end the inning. But Clemson breaks through.
Abby Vieira, what'd she do? That's right, she scored the pinch runner aerial to put Clemson on the board. 1-0 win.
And Florida State, both Thursday and Friday nights, played at 7 Eastern time. The Seminoles are in first place in the ACC.
Very similar to their softball team
Yes.
coming into this ACC championship, winning the regular season.
And winning earlier today. Joe Harden showing little twinkle toes over there.
That was
Not
a
really?
half-hearted effort.
No?
That was more like, hey, look, there goes the ball, than it was an intent to try to stop it. And she knows it. And it's only 2 sticks of gum. We did ask her before coming on
Yeah,
air.
it looks like 4 to me. Sarah Kuhn with her team now down 1-0. Florida State. They're playing tomorrow. Virginia being out hit 4-1 in this game.
But hits are at a premium right now. These pitching staffs both doing a really good job. Most of those hits coming off of the reliever Bigham last inning.
Bigham started the inning. Long run, and Moore couldn't quite catch up.
We're going to need to get back to conditioning because that's a catchable ball for Moore. Seriously, though, she's such a good second baseman, just beyond her reach.
You expect her, right?
But I expect her to make those plays. That's how good she is. Those elite level jumps and plays. That was a difficult play. Don't get me wrong. I'm just teasing.
That was sarcasm?
That was
Okay.
a little bit of sarcasm, but she's that good. She can cover that ground just beyond the
Got a lot of
distance.
Dirt on the uniform already, too.
You can't leave the ballpark clean. Did you really play if you leave completely white?
Another one. Goes foul. Sarah Kuhn was retired on a very good play by first baseman Noller, who went over all the way to the railing in foul territory to end her at bat. Back in the second inning. A full count to start things off in the top of the 5th. Chopped foul. Kuhn, a senior from Elmira, New York.
Great call down the line. That did go foul, called by the home plate umpire.
First 3-ball count for Basinger, and she gives up her second hit of the game. Virginia gets the leadoff on for the first time tonight.
Well, and that's the key to being productive. Just extend your at-bat by fouling pitches off, and then take advantage of a mistake coming out of the circle. Stung right back up the middle. Nobody can make a play on that. And that's the key for Virginia in this game. Make in-game adjustments at the plate. So now as they head back through the lineup for the second time, Kuhn making a really good adjustment in that at-bat to get on.
Reese Holbrook coming out to run for Kuhn over at first base. That at-bat was perfect. Joanna Harton had talked about how she wanted Kuhn in particular to look at more pitches, hang in there, and she did just that and got the base hit. Boy, Hartgrove.
It's a scary moment, but the ball actually tipped off the bat. So while it's up and in, which is where you try to throw a player that is looking to sacrifice bunt, that ball was off the bat. It'll be a foul ball. It did not hit her. It hit the barrel. And with that, it's a foul ball. In real time, it can sometimes be hard to tell if the ball hits off the helmet or off the bat or somewhere else off the player. But then after the fact, not only does she get hit, or does she hit the ball, the catcher steps on her hand. Add insult to injury on that one.
So yeah, so you escape getting hit, and then your hand gets stepped on, and you might have been able to read her lips, and she said she was bleeding, so she needed a bandage to come to the athletic trainer out there and taping her up as Vieira inadvertently stepped on her hand.
A hit by pitch call. We're under review.
So they are going to look at it to see if she was hit.
So when you hit, your hands are kind of important. And as Hartgrove turns to sacrifice, it's the right hand that gets hit by the ball holding the bat, and then the left hand gets stepped on. And the right hand is the hand that's getting taped. So I don't know that she broke skin off getting stepped on. It was more the impact of the ball colliding into her finger on the bat. She's having kind of a tough game, Pam. If you remember, she's the catcher of note in this game and wore the ball off the knee earlier today, and then had a bat ricochet off of her leg later. She's getting beat up.
So we do have in-house review here.
The call on the field is upheld, hit by pitch.
All right, so it is indeed a hit by a pitch. Roger Potts, our replay official, looking at it, and now UVA has its first two runners on for the bottom of the lineup. And John Rittman's going to make a change as Basinger goes out, and Brooke McCubbin, the veteran, comes in. So John Rittman has turned to Brooke McCubbin.
And has had more opportunities and more innings this season. She's got over the century mark in innings pitched this year. She's pitched in the biggest Clemson moments. Started in their final game at Supers against Oklahoma back in 2023. She's had 3 seasons behind Cagle, Thompson, and Spencer. Now this is her year. 64 to 65 miles an hour on her curve, rise, and drop. And a truly frustrating pitcher to face because of how well she mixes her speeds.
MC Eaton, the first batter she faces. Pinch runner Reese Holbrook over at second. Sydney Hartgrove, who got hit by a Basinger pitch, is at first. Pulled the string to get the swing, and a miss, and a strikeout.
And that's why you change pitchers. It's just to change the dynamic. All of these hitters had seen Basinger and were starting to make some adjustments at the plate. With that, they relieve to McCubbin, who gets a nice first strikeout in the first batter she faces.
Now Kelsey Hackett, who also struck out against Basinger. Quickly ahead of her 0-2. Hackett was the only Cavalier at the bottom of the lineup to get a hit yesterday in the win over Louisville. Of the 7, 8, 9 hitters, the only one to get a hit. She had a single. With 2 runners on, but still just 1 away. And that hitter, the bases are loaded.
That little tap of the chest as McCubbin recognizes that she allowed that ball to get away from her inner grip.
Kaylin Jones coming to the plate, and that sends Jade Hilton to the on-deck circle. And some more pitchers we see heading towards the bullpen for Clemson. Abby Stewart is going down there, number 13. And that's Cintron, who is warming up. Already in the game as a hitter. Very good two-way player. Cintron, the starting DP today. Kaylin Jones sends it into the air, shallow. The fake tag up just to draw the throw. 2 outs, bases loaded, and here comes Jade Hilton.
I don't know that you could I don't know that you could script a better scenario for Virginia. Those 2 free passes going down with hit batters brings up the biggest hitter for Virginia. She has done such a good job this season of just putting the bat on the ball and letting it ride. She leads the team with 17 home runs. She's got the career home run record at Virginia. Single season home run record set this year. She had 2 against Stanford in their last regular season series.
And Jade Hilton should have 2 hits in this game, but she was robbed by Maddie Moore making a great play from second, going out into the outfield in the first inning, and then a wonderful running catch by Pipkins out and right the last time she came up.
As she's seeing the ball well. Now remember, those 2 hits came off of the previous pitcher, so with McCubbin in the game, she'll have to make some in-at-bat adjustments to make sure that she is successful with runners in scoring position.
Goes after the first pitch, it drops. Here comes the tying run. The throw gets away, Hilton advances up to second, and the face of this Virginia program finally gets a break and drives in the tying and winning runs. And lead run, pardon me.
The craziest part about that hit is it is the weakest one she's had
Right.
on the day. Got jammed up inside the barrel But with 2 outs, every runner was in motion with the swing. So beautiful job to just put the ball in play where nobody was. And as the ball got away, 2 runs come across for Virginia.
Yeah, she hit the first 2, especially the last one, really well out to right field. And that one just dropped in front of Brockenbrough. And Hartgrove running all the way. Put Virginia on top. Hellier also dangerous. It's an RBI single, and then Hilton advanced to second on the throw.
It's in these moments you have to take a breath and not swing outside of the zone. Even though you've got 2 ducks on the pond in scoring position, you have to make sure that you swing maturely on a pitch over the plate.
That's chopped and rolls foul.
Sometimes you can let your heart rate get elevated and you start to press at the plate, which takes you out of your pre-pitch preparation. That was what this second swing of this at-bat did. Just a ball that was unhittable, trying to do too much on a pitcher's pitch.
Hellier had the walk-off double to end the game yesterday against Louisville. Up. Another big situation, 2-2 pitch. Maddie Moore ends the inning.
Hey, for Hartgrove, back behind the dish, senior catcher.
She did score the go-ahead run on the 2-run single by Jade Hilton, but Hartgrove, as Kylie Johnson leads things off, a senior who only had 21 career at-bats before this year, stuck with it, showed up every day, worked hard, rewarded as the starting catcher, and she's going to be black, blue, and probably all colors of the rainbow when she goes home after this game.
I think most catchers have multiple bruises all over their body, but it's usually from balls that they have to block up in the dirt. Today, it's been foul balls off the knee, bats being worn off the leg.
Bottom of the order, Kylie Johnson, the number 8 hitter, and then that double, right, where she gets hit by a pitch, and then the catcher, Vieira, stepped on her other hand as she was trying to pick herself up. That's a toughie.
Yeah, but she hasn't come out of the game yet. Talk about grit.
Came in and hit, skied, and out of play. And it hit a fan who...
I think it hit her phone, too.
Yeah. Did she use her phone as a helmet?
On top of her head.
She seems fine.
She's laughing it off. She's like, I'm like Hartgrove. I'm tough.
Yeah, and she's got a bun. That might have helped.
Little did.
Oh, there you go.
Souvenir. She might have a broken finger, too.
Off speed for Bigham, who came in to start the 4th inning. Gave up a double and then an RBI single to Vieira, but UVA came back in the top of the 5th to grab the lead. That was clubbed, but over, I think that's a soccer field over there where it landed. Goal!
I'm gonna need a better soccer call on that, Pam.
Oh, that's all I got. Full count now. Johnson leading off in the 5th. Bigham, second K.
It took a little velo off of it. Nice drop away from the hitter who continued to foul pitches off. And when you see a hitter like Johnson that is absolutely screaming foul balls, sometimes...
No discernible change.
No,
Let's play ball.
Nothing defensively, nothing that we can tell offensively. Everybody's in place.
Into short center where Air tracks it for the second out. Okay, we have a new left fielder. Finally, it pops up. Cassidy Hudson is now playing left field for Kaylin Jones. Top of the order now, Alex Brown. Hit by a pitch and struck out against departed starter Courtney Lane. And we're going to say it again, Maddie Moore's on deck. You want to get this out. I mean, you want to get it anyway, but you don't want anybody on base for more.
And Pam, we expect to see defensive changes with Cassidy Hudson in left, because she is usually brought in for that defensive lockdown opportunity. When the team gets ahead, Coach Joanna Harden will often go to the defensive specialist out there in left.
Bigham ahead of Brown, 0-2. Nice piece of hitting as she flared at it, and it fell into right center field for the two-out base hit, and that does bring Moore to the plate.
Well, and it makes it difficult when you're shifted defensively to attack a pitching zone, and a hitter goes out against you and just flares the bat at the ball and drops it in front of a well-positioned outfield.
Big moment in this game, and Moore just missed it.
She does not get cheated at the plate. She swings out of her shoes, and because of that, she's been rewarded with 15 home runs this year.
Another pitch up in the zone for Moore, who is 0 for 2, was 0 for 2 against Lane. Facing Bigham for the first time tonight, and these two teams did not play during the regular season. Skied into center field, and Maddie Moore didn't get all of it, but got plenty. A two-run home run, and Clemson takes the lead right back.
That ball was hit about as high as it was deep. That was a sky ball. But the way that she swings with such authority, she does not get cheated at the plate. Gets herself a little round tripper to be able to plate enough runs to give themselves the lead.
Boy, Bigham got the first 2 outs of the inning. Johnson and Brockenbrough at the bottom of the lineup. Brown with a flare single just kind of threw her bat at the ball, got a single, and then Moore with the 2-run home run. Clemson led 1-0 at the bottom of the 4th. UVA grabbed the lead back with 2 in the 5th, and Clemson answers with 2 in their half of the 5th.
Both of these teams fighting to extend to tomorrow. It may be rainy, but they don't want their season to end at this point. Both of these teams looking pretty good for the postseason, though.
Semifinals are tomorrow, moved up to 10 a.m. from 1 p.m. for the first game, which will feature Florida State and Duke. The winner of this game plays the winner of North Carolina, Virginia Tech Coach Harden coming out to talk to her infielders.
Just such a big moment right now because Virginia does not want to let the momentum continue to trend towards Clemson. Because of that, both Joanna Harden, the head coach, coming out to be able to have that conversation, and Carly Reeves coming out as well to talk to the staff in the circle. Just slowing down the momentum for Clemson is the goal for Virginia right now because they're at a part of their lineup where the bats swing with a lot of power.
Yeah, they're not out of trouble yet. Here's Noller, doubled and scored on Vieira's RBI single in the last inning. And did double off of Bigham. Was the first batter that Bigham faced when she came into the game. That's playable for Kuhn, but Maddie Moore, the big 2-out rally.
Gotta love it when your big home run hitter takes the plate, is able to get you the lick. Yeah, she is the single season RBI leader. Second in the ACC in RBI, fourth in the ACC in slugging percentage. That is not a hitter you want to give a big pitch to. They did, and they paid.
Bigham able to get the first 2 outs, but then a single brought Moore up with 2 outs, and she cleared him. Virginia's lead was short-lived. Ella Cabral leading off. She is 0 for 2. Brooke McCubbin came in the last inning to relieve Basinger. Pounded, Moore can't get to it. And Virginia, for the second straight inning, gets its leadoff runner on.
That's maybe one of the best parts about Virginia is they never feel out of the game. Even in moments where they give away a lead, they respond so quickly.
Bill going to be taken out for a pinch runner. Macy Eaton. Her first look at McCubbin this evening. And she absolutely crushed it. The 2-run shot for Eaton in this seesaw battle. It's Virginia's turn to go on top.
Well, and Pam, that is perhaps the most pivotal moment for Macy Eaton in her individual career. She needed just 1 RBI to tie the single season record. Now with that 2-run shot, she, single season record holder herself, takes the lead over Kristen Dennis. Huge swing.
And what a way to do it.
Ride that pony.
And the wind is blowing in from center field. But that one was a rocket.
Off the bat, no doubter, left the park so quick. She knew it off the swing that ball was leaving.
It's got to be a great feeling, huh? You probably felt that a couple times. Couple, 2, 3.
It's like you didn't connect with the ball. The swing feels so smooth when you hit it that well.
Sarah Kuhn singled and scored on the RBI single by Hilton in the last inning, but she is thrown out. So the pinch runner, was Kamira Woody Jiggets, and she scored ahead of Eaton on that home run.
I mean, this is a game where it's just each team throwing punches. Took some time for both teams to settle in, but now they're just exchanging blows.
Yeah, there was a dearth of hits. We had no runs until the bottom of the first inning. Now, Virginia has scored in 2 straight innings, as has Clemson. This is Hartgrove. Hit by a pitch, and her last at bat sends it to center, where it's gloved by Brockenbrough for the second out.
The designated player, number 16, MC Eaton.
MC Eaton 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, one against Basinger, the starter, and now McCubbin. Virginia now with 64 home runs on the season, building on their highest total in a single season in history. Team that hit 36 dingers last year, now they have 64. Chopped, playable for McCubbin, who gets 3 straight outs, but the single to Cabral, and then Macy Eaton goes deep.
The single season RBI record holder now, Macy Eaton. 2 big ribbies on that big hit.
The 2-run home run has taken the lead, but in the bottom of the 5th inning, Maddie Moore.
Yeah, she left the park. Huge hit. And they got the lead with that swing. But the Virginia response on the other side, a big one. Macy Eaton, huge swing, now gives her team the lead. They sit with a 4-3 advantage.
Pam Ward and Jenny Dalton-Hill joining you. Brighton, Massachusetts, which is Boston-ish. And Cintron, the number 4 hitter, the cleanup hitter, leading things off. We've had 4 lead changes in the last, 2.5 innings. That's fun.
It's a lot of math.
And it might actually be accurate. We have had 4 lead changes.
But that's what you got to do. You've got to respond. When another team punches, you have to deal one back, and that's exactly what's happened. Clemson took advantage early in the bottom of the 4th, but then the response by UVA, so good in the top half of the 5th, and now we've seen crooked numbers for 3 solid half innings.
And the veteran Eden Bigham trying to close things down after she took over in the 4th inning for Courtney Lane, who had shut out Clemson in the first 3 innings. That's out of play. The UVA faithful let you know what they think about that call.
That's a pretty good pitch. It's a little elevated. I can see why it was called a ball, but that is a beautiful pitch by Bigham.
Citron being patient, draws the leadoff walk in the 6th. First walk given up by Bigham. Technically 3 lead changes. We went from 0-0 to 1, so not really a lead change. So 3 lead changes. But it's
I was giving you the credit. I would have called it 4.
Ava Wilson running for Cintron over at first.
7th seed, April Wilson. American Tigers, the catcher, number 4, Annie Vieira.
And that brings Vieira to the plate. Abel Wilson, the pinch runner, a freshman outfielder.
Well, knowing the way that Vieira swings the bat, I'm a little shocked at the way that the defense for Virginia is setting up. They've got the third baseman right in her grill.
Kuhn way up the line. Vieira, an RBI single that plated the first run of the game for either team back in the 4th inning. And there's Kuhn, almost halfway down the line. Ooh, and Vieira saying that she got hit by the pitch.
You want to make sure that you stay on top of that ball on the way in. Previously, we saw a Hargrove hit by pitch called on the field when she was turned.
Ruling on the field has been changed. It's a hit by pitch.
So 2 free passes, one via the walk, one hit by pitch. And I think that the reason that call was changed because earlier in the game, we had the exact same situation happen and they awarded the batter first base. So Hargrove on Virginia given first base as she pulled back on a bunt, got hit by the ball. Now, reciprocally, Vieira getting the same call.
So 2 on for the freshman Marion Collins. Infield playing in. Gets the bunt down, and it's perfect! Everybody's safe.
And the reason this play happens the way it does is because Clemson recognized that this was a bunt situation, so the corners were pulled in and charged so quickly in that a push bunt was called, not a sacrifice. And a push bunt's job is to push it past the pitcher and the collapsing first baseman, and did exactly as it was scripted to be.
And you saw Cabral, the second baseman, breaking over to first to cover it, so no one had a chance to get to the bunt. Bases loaded, nobody out for Taylor Pipkins, who does have a single in this game. Clemson just fell behind on Macy Eaton's 2-run homer in the top of this inning. Bigham falls behind 2-0. Brown with the leadoff walk. Or pardon me, Cintron with the leadoff walk, then a hit by pitch, and then the bunt. Loading them up.
Bases loaded, infield in, trying to prevent that run from coming home. Two and 0 was my favorite count to hit in, and she did not even look like she was going after that one. Timing wasn't there on that pitch for Pipkins.
Trying to squeeze the run home.
Yep, that was definitely a squeeze. Did her job, though. Maybe didn't execute it to be able to put the ball on the ground, but did foul it off. And that's the key. When you get that squeeze, you want to make sure that you make contact. Keep it on the ground, foul it off, but do not just let that pitch go, because you will leave that runner on third base high and dry.
So the pitch count, or the count goes to 2-2 after Bigham fell behind 2-0. Pipkins sends one long, deep, and gone! Off the right pole. A grand slam for the freshman. That's our fourth lead change of the game. And the Tigers 3 outs away now from advancing to the semifinals.
That off the bat was an absolute blast. Pipkins had just 2 home runs coming into that at bat. Was not an everyday starter until the Stanford series, which was about midway through conference play. With bases juiced, perhaps the biggest swing of...
In the top of the 6th, and Clemson now with a 3-run cushion and a pitching change. Bigham leaves and Savannah Henley comes in.
When Henley threw as the starter yesterday against Louisville, she threw 2 innings and was brilliant. No walks, no free passes, 3 strikeouts. She was relieved, I thought, a little prematurely, and Bigham came in and relieved her. They did a great job combining together, but now it's flip-flopped as Henley relieves Bigham in the circle here after that huge grand slam by Pipkins.
We look at Bigham in the dugout as we take a look at Henley's scout.
When Henley's coming from the left side, throws in the low 60s. Changeup is her bread and butter, and I think that's why you see her coming in this situation to try to disrupt the timing of these Clemson hitters who are swinging with authority right now.
And they still have nobody out. Kylie Johnson, the 5th Tiger to come to the plate in the 6th. Bigham, a walk, a hit by pitch, a bunt single, and then the grand slam by Pipkins ended her day. Another towering fly ball. That cleared the fence, but it was foul.
And I'm looking right now for Henley to start disrupting some timing. Throw that changeup that's elite. I mean, the way that Clemson is swinging right now, not only is their swing plane looking for the deep drive, but they have timed up this pitching staff for Virginia.
Johnson behind 0-2, takes it high.
And there it is. That dirty pitch is such a difference maker. I think that's why we see the change in the circle, knowing that that dirty rise makes you look silly at the plate at times. It's a beautiful swing, but it's way ahead. She's completed before the ball even gets to the plate.
First batter, strikeout for Henley. And here's Brockenbrough facing her 3rd pitcher of the game. First 3 innings got off to a slow start, but since then they have exploded. And all of those runs coming off of Bigham.
And in those 3 innings where no runs were getting put up, it's because that solid defense was showing up on both sides. A bunch of double plays, some diving catches. Defense was on display as both teams were trying to figure out the circle.
Alex Brown on deck, the leadoff hitter for Clemson, who scored ahead of Moore's home run that gave Clemson that brief lead in the 5th inning. Right back to Henley, who did a good job to knock it down and stay composed to get the 2nd out.
Those comebackers at the circle can sometimes make you a little bit nervous, but that was not a full swing by Brockenbrough at the plate. It was basically just tipped right back up the middle.
number 25, Alex Brown.
Henley in her 4th and final year at Virginia after playing her freshman year at Purdue. Grad student now in Charlottesville, and here's Brown. And Henley shaken up.
And it's so important to be able to have solid legs underneath you, and by wearing that last hit off of her body, it giving her a moment of pause. Luckily, it was not a full swing at the circle or off the bat, more of a tip, but she wore it right inside that left knee. And the reason that's so important is she has to be able to push off the pitching plate to deliver. Looks like she's getting a couple warm-up pitches to see if she's going to be able to push off and land. First one came in zipping pretty hard at the plate. She looks like she's okay.
Starts Brown off with a strike. Looking ahead to the Virginia 7th, the 8-9-1 hitters due up. Hackett, perhaps a pinch hitter. See if they decide to have Jones hit or use the pinch hitter, and then Jade Hilton. So Hilton will get another at bat.
They're at the right part of their lineup to respond. It seems like both of these teams do not want to go home. They want to extend their day and see some rain tomorrow. But love the way that these teams are competing.
Virginia got its first ACC championship win since 2011 last night. Come from behind victory against Louisville. They will have to duplicate that again tonight. Already coming from behind twice to take leads, and they've relinquished them every time. Full count to Brown with Maddie Moore on deck. With 2 outs, hit a home run in her last at bat after Brown singled. Nice pickup by Cabral at second to end the inning, but the big blow. Grand slam home run for Taylor Pipkins.
Huge swing, grand slam. The lead acquired again by Clemson. Celebration at home. Together a resume that would give them a hosting opportunity, but we talked earlier about all those one-run losses that they had. Those were a lot of tight games that could have gone either way, and had they gone the way of Virginia, I think they would have given themselves an opportunity to push them into a host opportunity.
This would be their second straight NCAA appearance, only their third ever.
Rally caps are out.
Rally visors, right?
Sorry, rally
they're not
visors.
foam anymore.
Nope, they are legitimate visors.
Popped up. Nice basket catch by Vieira for the first out of the 7th.
And as you sit down by 3 runs here at the end of the game, you've got to make sure that you're just putting base hits together. One long swing does not make a difference. So as Kaylin Jones has made both of her outs in the air, I'd like to see her make an adjustment, stay on top of the ball, and let her wheels do some work here at the end of the game.
Re-enters the game, was lifted as for Cassidy Hudson as a defensive replacement, but As her turn in the batting order comes up, she comes back in. One pitch. Sends that in the air again. Playable for Brockenbrough. 2 outs for Jade Hilton. Last time up, Jade with a 2-out, 2-run single that gave Virginia the lead in the 5th. Hilton still with 1 more year to go. Kid from Martinsville, Virginia. Virginia Tech and Miami of Ohio, the only other D1 offer she got. And she has been such a staple for this building Virginia program. Down 0-2. Puts it in the air, Brockenbrough gets it! Bobbles it and held on out in center field. Jade Hilton, 3 times tonight. Very good Tiger defensive plays have taken hits away from her.
And we talked about it early on, the key to the game for Clemson. We know that they can hit, but it was all about how the defense would show up behind their pitching circle. Tonight, those great defensive plays kept them in it until their bats got going in the 5th inning, or in the 4th inning. Great response at the end of the game with their back against the wall.
All 7 runs coming in the last 3 innings for the Tigers. In a game that had 4 lead changes. The first lead change came in the 5th inning. That's how crazy it was. So they go on to their 5th semifinal. And they will take on the winner of North Carolina and Virginia Tech. They might have a challenge.
The ruling on the field is a catch. Virginia has challenged that ruling.
And so you talked about that bobble at the end of the play, Pam. If that ball made contact with the wall, it would actually not be a catch. So as she takes this ball deep and it ricochets off her body, I think she secured it before she even got to the wall. I think this is going to be ruled a catch, but why leave challenges on the table when you have an opportunity to maybe change the game a little bit?
And that's the only camera angle we have of that, so there's no way that should be overturned, because you need concrete evidence to do so.
Yeah, indisputable evidence to overturn this call. I think if that's the only look, she doesn't even make it to the wall to bounce that ball off of it.
The ruling on the field has been upheld. It is a catch.
The ruling has been upheld, and the game is now officially over. Clemson takes it 7-4, and they will play either North Carolina or Virginia Tech in the semi tomorrow. They did not play Virginia Tech this season and took 2 out of 3 from North Carolina on their home field